Timothy McVeigh to nuclear bombs, from Muhammad Ali to Bob Dylan, Ed Bradley has talked to them all. But it was not a conversation with a world leader that proved to be Ed's favorite. It was with the woman who made stormy weather sunny.
If I arrived at the pearly gates and St. Peter said, "What have you done to deserve entry?" I'd just say, "Did you see my Lena Horne story?"
Ed, tonight, two of your colleagues also wanted to pay tribute.
The gentle giant, I call him, and he's done it all superbly. Ed's mother, by the way, was one of the most beautiful women I'd ever seen. Tall, fine, snow-white hair. And, if we can find the picture, he's been my punching bag down the years. I love him.
Lifetime achievement? I don't think so. Not for Bradley. How about Late Adolescence Award or Advancing Maturity Award? I think Ed has a few more achievements left in him. You must remember that in this crowded 60 Minutes, he's, comparatively speaking, a mere teenager. Nevertheless, I guarantee you that if this is indeed a lifetime, Ed Bradley has many more lifetimes in him. His courage and his talent are just too large for him to rest on this or any other laurel. Congratulations, Ed.
Ed Bradley is here to be honored for his lifetime of work, and part of that greatness is his longevity. Along with the Lifetime Achievement Award, Ed will take home 2 Salute to Excellence Awards. He and his 60 Minutes team won the Features Long-Form category for their story on the late, great Ray Charles, and also in the Enterprise category for their expose on the murder of Emmett Till. Ed Bradley is still proving that journalism matters by telling stories, great stories, our stories. If I can go away from the script for just a moment to say this much. I've had the privilege of walking those floors with those gentle giants of 60 Minutes, and to see all of them walk around, you don't know the pride that I had just making the trek from the edit room to the bathroom to see Ed walking through, to know that it's just one of ours. And I have tried my best to steal a little bit from Mr. Gumbel and the late, great Max Robinson, and as much as I could from Ed. And one of the things that we all know, even before the earring got put in, Mr. Bradley, on the air, is that he taught us that you could have style and grace and be up front and be taken seriously and still be the coolest cat on TV. So for that reason alone, NABJ is proud to present the 2005 Lifetime Achievement Award to Ed Bradley.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Some of you laughed at that old picture. You all will be gray one day. I didn't start out this way. I earned them. Now, I was told I had a minute. I will promise you I will not talk for 60. But I do want to say something about the 2 awards for the Ray Charles story. I did my first Ray Charles story with Paul and Holly Fine, who are from Washington. I thought it was just a jewel of a piece and couldn't have been improved upon. When Ray Charles died, I said, you know, we should talk to Quincy Jones and to Willie Nelson. And with Ruth Streeter's help, who was my producer on that piece, we integrated them into the first story, and that became the piece that you honor tonight. And I didn't think we could improve on the original, but with Q and with Willie and with Ruth's help we did. For Emmett Till, I grew up in Philadelphia, rather protected from life in the South. Emmett Till and I were the same age when he was killed, and that was my introduction to the reality of what life could be like for a black person in the South in the 50s. When we were awarded an Emmy earlier this year for that story, I said it was the most important Emmy that I had ever received. And I would say the same thing about your recognition tonight. And I should thank Keith Beauchamp, who told us about his documentary on Emmett Till, and that prompted us to do the story. And I'd also like to thank two of the most talented people I've ever had the pleasure of working with, Michael Radutsky and Tanya Simon. On behalf of all of them, I would thank you for that honor. As for the Lifetime Achievement Award, I'd like to say thanks to all of those who came before me, the true pioneers in our business. I'd like to thank my wife, who for the last 10 years has given me so much support, so much strength, and so much happiness, my wife Patricia, who is here tonight. It is a pleasure to receive this award, these awards tonight, a distinct honor to be singled out by this organization for a lifetime of achievement. It doesn't seem like it was a lifetime ago when we held the first meetings in New York, just a small band of brothers and sisters new to this business of journalism. There weren't really many of us, I think maybe a half a dozen at that first meeting, but we knew we needed to be together. And it gives me great pleasure to know that I was at the gestation of one of the groups that in some way evolved into the National Association of Black Journalists. I look around this room tonight and I see how much our profession has changed and how our numbers have grown. I also see it every day as I travel the country reporting stories for 60 Minutes. All I have to do is turn on the television and I can see the difference. In 1967, when I went to WCBS Radio in New York, there were only 3 people of color in the newsroom. There was me, there was Willie Thrash, who was a radio technician, and there was Gus St. Cyr, who swept the floor. Today, almost 1/3 of the staff at WCBS Radio are minorities. That's change in my lifetime. I had been at CBS for about a year when I got a call from one of my homeboys in Philly. We had lived around the corner from each other. We pledged together and graduated together, late from Cheney. We were on the 5-year program. He called me because he had a chance to audition for a job at a very small UHF station in Philadelphia, and he was teaching school, as I had done before I went to New York, and he had no experience in news. He came up to New York one weekend and went around with me as I covered stories for WCBS Radio. Armed with that crash course in journalism and with his own ability and aggressiveness, he landed that job and eventually came to Washington to work at WRC, and today he is the Dean of Anchormen here in Washington. Would you please recognize my old friend, Jim Vance. That Vance has been the face